Darrell, let me ask you this. What is design to you? What is design?
Well, creativity and design, along with art, they are history indicators. What art, design, and the creative aspects of art and design mean for each individual artist or designer, the things that are going on in their particular lives, that art is the artist's way of showing this is where I'm at, what I'm going through, the things that I've experienced in design.
Right.
And the things that people go through as artists and their life experiences that contribute to what happens in their body of work. It's not based on color, it's not based on race, ethnicity, but to an extent it is. So it's not, but it is. Because those things dictate what your experiences are going to be.
Exactly.
Which would dictate your views on the world, which dictates your creativity or what comes out in your work and how it's represented. But all things considered, everybody's voice is important in creativity and design, because you can have a designer that's from one of the New England states,
okay,
for instance. Then you can have a designer that's from Compton, California. And then you have a designer like me from North Carolina. You could take one of our pieces of work, let's say they were your designs. You could take one of our pieces of work, but if you just take one of us and look at our work, it's not a full picture of what's going on in the world today.
Okay, I understand where you're going.
But if you put all of our work together, then that gives you a great indicator as to what's going on in American history as a whole. You know? But in the creative and the design fields, the voices have become very one-sided. So the whole story of American history is not coming out because it's being censored or tapered, or there's one particular view that's being catered to. But in the long run, without the whole picture, how do we truly know and how do we truly let our children know where we're going?
Exactly.
And where we've been? Because they don't have a whole picture of where we've been.
Right, since it's one-sided as of right now, but I'm sure that you're working towards that and you're speaking against that, you're advocate for that?
Well, I'm an advocate for artists working together. Since I first started, I was one of the blessed few artists in Charlotte that got on the list. And basically what the list is, when Better Homes and Gardens decide they're gonna have an art show, there's a few people that get phone calls.
Okay.
From the beginning of my career, I was in that small group of few people. I was very different from all those other people. But it was a shock for them and a major adjustment, because it was like my work had been received in a way that they kind of didn't have the option as to whether or not I could fit in.
Exactly.
They didn't have a choice. My work had already proceeded. So in doing those shows, I started getting to know these people from these different backgrounds, different situations. Some come to the table and they're creating their new works of art and they have budgets of a few $100,000. So for them to meet an artist that comes to the table creating completely organically with no budget, it's just like, so I've affected them as they have affected me.
Okay.
But as we started working together and collaborating and doing different types of events, we started seeing each other as artists.
As artists, and respecting one another as artists.
Right.
Okay. Now let me also ask you this. In reference to designing and designers, tell me which local designers that you have worked with here in Charlotte, North Carolina, or the surrounding areas of the Carolinas.
I gotta get my shout outs. I work with Tara Davis from Flow Designs. I love Tara Davis. I love her work. That's my girl. I work with Antoine I've never known Antoine's last name. I just call him Antoine Harry Him. That's how his name is in my
Oh, okay,
phone.
Mr. Antoine Lawrence. I think I know who you're speaking.
His last name is Lawrence?
His last
Oh
name
my
is
God.
Lawrence. Antoine Lawrence, you guys.
But I work with Antoine from Harry Him. Those are
Okay.
the good old days. We had so much fun.
Okay.
And then the very first designer that I worked with, he's been an international dress designer, and he's somewhat retired, and then he moved back to Chicago, and now he's back out there. But Brian Osborne, he was the very first designer to give me an opportunity to show my work on the runway.
Okay.
That was a beautiful thing. I've worked with him. I've also worked with Melissa Davis from Fox Skins.
Okay.
I've worked with Akila from Venus Fly. I had the pleasure of working with Corto Mamalu a few months back.
Okay, wow.
She was America's favorite designer on Project Runway. So
right.
I worked with her. That was really cool. I look forward to working with her some more in the future. So if you see this interview, Corto, get that together. But we have been in conversation about doing some things in the future together. So that's been a pretty cool thing. But I've worked with a lot of designers. I mean, David's Eyes from Australia.
Wow.
Christine, amazing. David's Eyes, amazing. That collection is, oh my gosh.
Now let me ask you this. Exactly, you know how sometimes some artists may start out as one thing and kind of, straddle over into something else. Do you think you would ever dig or dab into the whole fashion arena, or will you just stick with the jewelry?
Within fashion, clothes, hats.
I would say more so the fashion as far as clothes.
Okay. I'm gonna say this
Hot
in
fashion.
advance, and my children are gonna think that I was a fortune teller, but I'm not. By the time my first child watches this video for the first time, Darrell Roach Designs will be as diverse as Louis Vuitton is now, as diverse as Chanel is now.
Okay.
And there will be clothes, fragrances, sheets and pillowcases, mugs, and everything else that I can put my name on.
Okay. It's all about the branding.
Yes.
It's about the branding, so I understand. Now let me ask you this. What designer will you not work with? Do you have anybody that you will not work with?
I will not work with designers that are not serious, because I get that a lot of times. I get a lot of people that come to me, we need to get together, we need to work together. And I give everybody an opportunity to do something. But a lot of times people come to me and their visions are very small. And then when I explain to them fully, like, if you want to work together, these are the things that are going to have to happen. And they realize how much work it's actually going to be. Then they kind of want to, I don't have time for that.
Right.
Because I'm not going to say wasted time, I have invested time into people that weren't that serious before. And when they decided that they were too tired to do the work and they walked away, they're acting like I'm not at the time.
Exactly.
But I have invested some time in some designers that it came out great, just like the young ladies at Mwazi.
Okay.
MwaziJewelry.com. That worked out perfect. They were 22-year-old twins, very good designers. They got their first editorial article a few months ago, and I was just so proud. And they're continuing to grow as designers.
Okay.
So that was the best time that I have ever invested in working with another designer.
Okay. All right. Well, good for them. And you know what? I just want to let you know again, it's been my pleasure. It's been an honor. Again, this is Miss Antrice on the behalf of Movers and Shakers magazine, and we have been so fortunate enough to have bestowed upon us Mr. Darrell Roach, international jewelry designer, Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, Movers and Shakers magazine.